Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the Boxing Social podcast in association with Betfred. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. And also, before we start, while I've got you, I wanted to talk about the new Boxing Social magazine, which is out now, free download, betting special. Get stuck into that. But not yet, because I've got Barry here.
That's very good, that was.
Thank you.
I was looking at you thinking...
He's going to mess this right
up.
up.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was like, I got my pen, I'm going to go, It's a really good job.
Don't read it yet, no, because we've got an absolute special. We love a special, this is a proper special. I'm looking forward to this, and I know I can already anticipate the grief you're going to get for this.
Why me?
Because
these my picks.
Your picks. I'm just teasing it out of you. So what we're going to do, what we thought we'd do, is we'll go down every division in the sport, and we're going to decide, or Barry's going to decide, who the best is. And now...
I'm nervous now. This is like scoring the fights on commentary.
Basically, yeah. The question is, how do you define the best? Is it who's got the most belts? Is it who is the most talented? Who has got the best resume? All of that stuff. Not my problem. Barry's problem.
No, I don't know how... I haven't got I have 2 glasses of water, right? I think it's a mixture of all.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're going to have a bias who you like, first of all. And I think
it's who you like.
I think
don't get caught into that.
What you've done in our weight division will have a factor. What you've done in the whole career has a factor. And then I think it might just boil down to sometimes who you think is just the better fighter overall, and who would beat the other one.
Yeah.
And so
we've got a few divisions where that's going to be.
And I've contradicted myself in loads of them. So sometimes I've gone for the guy who has the better resume in that career, in that level, and that weight. Sorry if I can get my words out again. And other times I've gone who I think would beat the other one, even though the one who I'm not picking has the better record at that weight. And some of the others I've gone for sentimental value.
I bet you. I can imagine. I won't predict it, but I reckon there's one where I can see that coming. It's the classic rule of broadcasting, though, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
We'll see, won't we? The rule of broadcasting, cover all bases, because then even if you get something wrong, you probably get something right.
I'm not biased, but I still got Calzaghe as number 1 of super middleweight, and Joe Cordina is
and light heavy.
number 1 of super featherweight. I know.
Where are you?
No, Joe won the light heavy. I'm not having that light heavy stuff.
No.
What's that? I'm on number 2.
Let's not get bogged down in Calzaghe. Right, let's start. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to start at the heavyweight. We'll start at the top and we'll work our way down, because maybe I'm preempting this, but I reckon the top few are kind of self-explanatory. It gets a bit messy deeper down. Yeah. So heavyweight, number 1 is...
Fury.
Which one?
Yeah, it got to be Tyson, haven't it? Yeah, I just can't see how you can... Again, though, I think, for strength and depth...
But not
Joshua, in strength and depth in the heavyweight division,
yeah, Joshua
has the better wins throughout. If you think that run he had, if you look at
White, Klitschko,
Parker,
Pulev, Povetkin,
yeah,
Charles Martin.
I know, but
yeah, but then Tyson Fury's got Vladimir Klitschko.
Takam even at the time was deemed as a good fighter, and so I think it's the risk there. You couldn't have boxed, except for Wilder, and Fury wasn't even around for some of that time. Except for Wilder, he couldn't really have boxed anyone else. To be fair, but
I wasn't anticipating this discussion.
No,
heavyweight.
No, but I think Fury's by far the better fighter, just better overall, beats everyone. But he's, again, with literally his career, his legacy, as we all like to use this word, no legacy, is off one fighter 3 times.
Oh, well, Vladimir Klitschko away.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Klitschko.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I remember that. It's almost so far away.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But it's almost like a different person.
It's maybe I always say this, but I reckon it could still be the best win of any active fighter right now. Yeah,
best win, worst watch.
I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't
an awful watch.
Thrills and spills.
No, but tactically, it was perfect. Yeah, it was. And I got to be honest, I didn't give him a chance to beat Klitschko.
Yeah.
And by the way, he beats Klitschko better than Joshua beat Klitschko.
And it was a Klitschko that hadn't lost for 11 years.
But Joshua beat Klitschko in a better fight. That's what.
Yeah, but he got hurt more, didn't he?
No, and got more credit for it because it was a great fight to watch. Yeah, well.
True, and that was okay. So you put Klitschko, the 3 Wilder wins, one of which, the middle one, was unbelievable.
But I would say about the Wilder wins, it feels like because he beat Wilder, he drew 3. It's not 3 Wilder wins, no. 2 Wilder wins and a draw. But everyone, apart from 2 judges, thought it was a Fury win. But he beat him 3 different ways. In
Yeah.
my mind, in my
Yeah.
mind, if you say just say that,
And almost different versions of Wilder as well.
Yeah, well, the second version there was no Wilder because Fury went and took it off him straight away.
Oh no, it was a suit, wasn't it?
And the best
Suits
version
do
of Wilder was the last one.
Yeah.
He showed so much bottle, Wilder, that I think he's a better fighter now than I ever thought he was.
And then Tyson Fury knocks out prime Dylan White in 5 rounds or whatever
I
it
don't think
was.
it's a prime Dylan White.
No?
I don't think it is. No, I don't think at all. I think Dylan White.
Over the hill.
I think he's still a good fighter. He's always going to be a good fighter. But I think one, he was made for Fury, and so I never thought it was going to be a massive competitive fight. I thought Fury had to be careful in the early rounds, but I never thought it'd be competitive. I think White, because of the way he's fought his career, the way he's fought all throughout his career, just I think he's lost a step or two.
Usyk currently holds 3 of the 4 belts,
Yeah.
but his major body of work was obviously at cruiserweight. So when it comes to this, you got to think.
Well, he has one win, and he beat Joshua. And
I mean, a hell of a win.
Which isn't a
At
bad,
Wembley.
which isn't a bad win. Away
Yeah.
from home, away from front, and a massive inexperience. I know he's boxed in Russia, by the way. He's Ukrainian.
And Latvia.
He's Ukrainian who's boxed in Russia.
Yeah.
But this, just bear that in mind. I know Klitschko did it against Povetkin, but he did it against what's his name?
Gassiev. Well, another great win. Bradis.
Remember him, Gassiev?
Yeah.
He's disappeared, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But that was a great win. Bradis was a great win. Bradis, did really well.
Yeah.
Actually, Bradis showed what you have to do to beat Usyk, but just couldn't beat him.
Quite get there.
Yeah, but Joshua's far above. Fury's far above. I know everything about him. He can. He's the most adaptable fighter, maybe in world boxing.
And he's 6'9".
Certainly in that
20
division.
stone.
6'9", and also he has massive long reach. Sometimes you get these tall fighters, they're massively tall, but the reach doesn't always. You can sort of be 6'6" and not 6'9", but still have a longer reach. But and black fighters tend to have a longer reach than white fighters. Tend to, mostly.
Yeah.
Not always, but mostly. And so you look at Wilder, he had a longer reach than Wilder, but Wilder looks like he got like a much vaster reach than Fury, but he never.
Fury's arms are massive.
Yeah, and also now Fury is dangerous now because he can punch. I mean, but he knows he can punch now. Whereas before, he might be able to punch, but he had to catch you coming forward or get it right. But now he can be a bit of a bully, so he can box you so many different ways. So he's number 1.
Okay,
He spent
heavyweight.
way too much time on
Yeah, heavyweight.
when it was an easy.
That was an easy one. Well, cruiserweight, I think is an easy one. There's 2 guys. I think I know what you're going to say. Who's the number 1 at cruiser?
Bradis. It has to be Bradis because his body of work. He's still.
Yeah, still champion.
Yeah, and he's still relatively fresh, maybe, I would say.
Yeah.
I think once Usyk went, there was, and Gassiev went before Usyk, I think, then he had the heavyweight, then, it was only him. And I think, Makabu, Dorticus and all those, they were never going to beat Bradis, I don't think. I think that we talked about transitional periods in a previous podcast where some divisions get really light. They're fantastic divisions and they get really light of quality. And then you'll get champions who sneak in, like I did, sneak through the gaps and win a world title, and deserve it. But you get it at a time when that division is not at its strongest. And I think some of those have got in when it's been weak.
And Okoli, but Okoli, I think
be a good kid.
I wonder whether Okoli might go up before he gets a chance to really usurp Bradis.
Yeah, well, see, if you think, the thing with Okoli, he could make Bradis. Like he could batter Bradis. He could absolutely batter him. Or if he does that, bringing that back foot forward all the time, like he did in his last fight. To be fair, he hadn't done it with Shane McGuigan. He'd been doing that less and turning more from the hips and keeping everything long and making it hard to get hold of him. But the last fight, I think it was the last fight, wasn't it? Then he started bringing. I know he's up against a guy he knew he could beat, but trying to get more power in that right hand, he was bringing that right foot forward again and squaring himself up. He does it against Bradis. Bradis is clever. And strong and tough and a good boxer, and he'll struggle with that. So if he boxes like that, Bradis beats him. But I would fancy Coley to beat him, but I still think you got to put Bradis
number 1
ahead of him. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, light heavyweight, another one where there's 2 guys in the frame.
Oh yeah.
Who do you reckon?
Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Beterbiev. I think you have to say Beterbiev, don't you? Not, but I've
always said
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev.
I think I was told to say Beterbiev recently.
Who would you, if we'd done this pod a couple of weeks ago before he'd knocked out Joe Smith Jr. in that fashion?
Beterbiev.
Still number 1, yeah.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've maybe underestimated Bivol, to be fair. But I still think the fact that and he boxed really good against Canelo, but he couldn't have done that if he didn't have that size factor.
Yeah, he used his advantages, didn't he?
What he did do, though, cleverly, because he used the size fight, he didn't get overwhelmed with the pressure of Canelo, where most other fighters do. I'm surprised Canelo's had so much success at super middleweight doing it. They're all fearful. It's his reputation, because he's fearful, he's a fearful puncher, his reputation now precedes him, so he doesn't have to do the groundwork. You're expecting to get hurt. Better Biev does it.
Yeah.
You're expecting to get hurt of him. So Joe Smith Jr. went in there, got caught. The first shot that Better Biev threw hurt him. It's the third shot it was. He threw two jabs. He threw a right hand. As soon as he hit him, he went wobbly legged.
Yeah.
He's brave and tough and he's strong, Joe Smith. But after that, then it was sort of like survival mode, trying to just stay in the fight.
And then when nothing's coming back,
you stay in the fight rather than win the fight, and it's a whole different mindset, tactic, and just an energy to your work, and that made an easier night then for Better Biev. But I still think that Bivol is a good, clever boxer, technically good, strong, but and no, because I'll box Better Biev, and we've seen Better Biev get hurt before, but never hurt enough to think he's going to be
straight back,
put to sleep, and he hurts you with everything.
He reminds me, he's got like George Foreman power, like no backlift power, just come from nowhere.
And he can hurt you late in a fight.
Shot.
That's the worry. You know, when you think like, if I stay tight and if I say, no, sometimes you got big punchers too, they struggle for the weight so much because they're naturally big and stuff. And you go, if I can just get into that past 6-7 rounds, he'll be knackered, and then I can go to it. If I can just nick one round in those first 5, and he starts getting tired, then I can win the rest of the fight then. And then stop him or win on points or whatever, but I can win the rest of the fight because the power wanes. But with him, it doesn't. And that's when it's natural power, just natural raw strength. That you stop fighters in 10, 11, 12 rounds, and that's the worry then. He's dangerous every second of every round, right up until the bell, the final bell.
Does he beat? So if they make the Bivol fight, he wins.
Yeah, I don't think they'll want to make that.
Okay, so from every angle, you got him number one lightweight.
Okay, easy,
Super middle, again, probably quite straightforward one, I would say. Yeah.
Gotta say Alvarez.
Yeah.
He
cleared it up, didn't he?
He's destined to be great, Alvarez. That loss, I thought he was going to beat Bivol, and I got it totally wrong. I couldn't have got it more wrong. But he's destined to be great. There's a guy here who wasn't even a big light middle super welter, really. I mean, he's grown. He's bulked out now with natural supplements and stuff. But he's literally he's trained to be bigger. But I mean, he was never a massive super welter. So the guy's about my height. Whatever this 5'9" bollocks, he's 5'9". He's 5'8" at a stretch, and I'm about just under 5'7", I think. So he's tiny, and he was intimidating. Not beating people, but he's intimidating them with his presence. I've said this before. He gets in the ring at 5'8". He walks to the ring 5'8". When he gets in the ring, he's 6 foot. He looks bigger and stronger, and everyone's and they cower. So his reputation precedes him, and everyone panics, and that makes it easy for him. That's why when he takes a step back. If I didn't notice this until I seen the Bivol fight, but Bivol and his camp noticed it because they're cleverer than I. That's it. But
marginally.
So he does his work, and then when he takes a step back for his rest or to go again, you don't follow him out. Because that's your rest. There's your chance to run away or just to catch your breath when he comes to beat you up again. But Bivol followed him out.
Again, that was when he worked.
Yeah, he followed him out with solid shots and pushed Canelo back. And then once he started doing that, Canelo lost a little bit of confidence, even though he kept trying to do the same thing. And then he became one-paced. Because he's so used to fighting at his own pace now, Canelo, that when the pace was changed, he struggled a bit. He was tired a little bit more than I've ever seen him for a long time. He seemed more tired in the Bivol fight, almost like he was treading water, if you like, or sometimes walking in sand a little bit, than he was in the Golovkin fights, which were really wars of attrition.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you mean.
He wasn't used to it for a long time. He hadn't been in a fight like that for a long time, where someone's changed the tempo of the fight for him, and he got a bit confused and worried. So, but again, Bivol couldn't have done that without the size. So Canelo is clearly
the only reason I asked that and there was some hesitation there is, do we think his work might be done at super middle? And then therefore, do you still consider him?
Yeah, he's still super middle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's boxing Golovkin,
of course,
in September. So
and beneath him, it's not the strongest division. It's sort of obviously Benavidez is looking good and he's coming.
Clearly number 2. Yeah.
And then Caleb Plant's had his crack at Canelo. Then you're looking at like Lerone Richards and John Ryder and people like that. You know, they're really not far off.
Yeah,
the
all
top.
of a sudden, Ryder's like right up
Yeah.
there. Yeah, you got to say that. I think Lerone's looking really good and
Yeah.
flying, but I still think you get a world title shot, you take it tomorrow. But I still think he needs a little fight, one more fight.
Middle step, yeah.
Yeah, just to see what he is, because he lacks that raw power. He doesn't have a massive punch. Obviously, he doesn't set his feet, but he doesn't have a massive punch. And I know what that's like better than anyone. But so when you set up at the world level, it really goes against you. And you don't have to have a big punch to win a world title, but at some point, because they're world level, they will not respect you. They will walk right through you. And that's just how it is. Ultimately, that's what happens. You have to be a really genuine world class fighter. You have to be able to do a little bit, if not a lot, of everything good. And yeah, so Lerone's really tricky, clever, thinks about his work, diligent, I think, as well, in everything he does. But the lack of pop in his punches might just, again, you want to have that middle step before you get there.
Speaking of popping punches, middleweight, who do you reckon?
Golovkin.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a messy division.
The thing we got is, well, he moves up now. As from September, he'd never middleweight again.
Yeah.
And then I think this is his last fight. I think he signs off. He's 40 now.
Yeah.
He looked, it's in the presses, he looks older now all of a sudden, doesn't he?
He does.
He looks
Time
like
waits for no man.
He looks like an old man trying to dress young and not pulling it off. But it's true that he looked a little bit older all of a sudden.
He is old.
Yeah, he's not old. He's 40, mate.
I mean, he's 40.
No,
he's a
not old.
40-year-old.
Not old.
Yeah. He's not 28 anymore.
No, of course, yeah. No, but I think so. But he's still good. The Murata win was a better win than what people were giving credit for, to be fair.
And when you said at the start about body of work and all that sort of stuff, when you really look at it, he's still the number one middleweight, isn't he?
Of course he is. And I think Jamal Charlo has looked good, but he's hittable. And if you're hittable, Golovkin could beat you. That's just the truth. Like, that is the truth. And so, yeah.
32-0, but never fought a punch.
But yeah, but there's a thing, and Andrade, who's the most avoided boxer in the world, I don't see that. He's avoided because he's not marketable.
Yeah. And his body of work is not good enough.
And massively overpaid, I think, by the zone. I think he was, and now that's it. So I think he struggled to get fights because he wants too much money.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I'm making all this up, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. But he's 31-0, Charlo 32-0, but neither of them can really even.
And look at Munguia, who was gonna take the world by storm, but like he fighting all the time, like.
Well, beyond that, you're looking at Munguia, you're looking at Eubank, you're looking at Janabek. Good decent fighters, but again, Golovkin, body of work, and everything else, it has to be him.
And I haven't seen, and I don't think he's the fighter he was.
No,
but I haven't seen the deterioration enough yet to say anyone. Jamal Charlo is probably the one who has a chance to beat him, maybe, because I think he's a bit of a snappier puncher. I think Andrade I don't think he has the energy in his work to keep Golovkin off for 12 for me.
Okay, then to say his next fight is at super middle, so let's assume that he's gone.
But he's not, though, is he?
Let's assume he's gone.
Yeah,
who's the best of the rest? Charlo.
I think so. Yeah, I think Charlo. Yeah, I think he's very, very good and nasty. See, Andre, I haven't been sold on him massively. He's good, but yeah, I'm not sure. He's 2-8 world champion. He's 2-8 world champion.
Yeah.
And WBA and WBO, isn't he? And but you really have a look at his career.
Who, Andrade?
Yeah.
Well, he had a big spell off, didn't he?
Who was he beat?
Well, when he beat Brian Rose, I remember he looked like one of the best pure boxers on the planet. He had a big old break, and there was problems.
And again, not just Brian Rose is a good fighter.
Yeah.
But he's not a world level fighter, and that's the truth. No disrespect that, he's a good fighter.
Yeah, that looked like a fight that he would then move him on, and he had a problem, and then he signed up with DAZN, who had all the middleweights, but we were told, but he still couldn't really get a fight.
No.
The Saunders fight fell through, which was no fault of his own, by the way.
See, if he bites Munguia, that's right. To be fair, that's right. I'm not blaming him.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anyone, actually.
Yeah, because if he'd had that Saunders fight at that time, which obviously was a failed drugs test at the time for Saunders, maybe everything would have gone differently for him. But he didn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's funny how things work out. And again, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying, just all the facts are. And I just see that he's good, and he really is good. But I just don't think he's this like massively avoided trickster that everyone's been trying to sell him as. I don't see it. I think he's a bit of a lazy fighter, actually. Loads of talent, and he's awkward and tricky, and can punch a little bit. Actually, to be fair, he can punch a bit, but
Ask Luke Keeler.
he's too lazy, I think, and I think that if you could really put it on him, like a Golovkin could, I think, I think he'd struggle. I do. And even Charlo, I think Charlo would have too much energy for him. But that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Or it's a really boring, shitty fight.
I think it'd be good. It never going to happen though.
But Munguia, why didn't he fight Munguia? And same for Munguia. What a wasted career that's been.
Yeah, he's very young still. He's got some time.
How old is he now?
Don't know. He must be sort of
24 or something.
Yeah.
No, but when he was 21, he was taking the world by storm. And,
Yeah.
he battered.
I remember they tried to make him fight Golovkin, and then the Nevada wouldn't commission it because he was too inexperienced. But he's obviously come on.
But no, since then, but no, he's just like he's treading water, isn't he?
Yeah.
Boxing people like below his level. To be fair, they're decent fighters, but for his level, they're below his level, and he's just be hanging around for the last few years doing nothing. Let's blame COVID.
Blame COVID. Well, Golovkin number one then. Best of the rest.
Yes.
Charlo. And speaking of Charlo, light middleweight, easy pick.
Yes, for me, especially because Castano.
Yeah.
In was the best, clearly.
Well, it's funny you should say that because remember Nate Campbell? I had a very, very interesting breakfast with him in Miami. He was doing the comms. Yeah, lightweight champion. Real character, unbelievable talker, to be fair. But he, for maybe an hour, probably beyond an hour, passionately told me how this division is the best in the world at the moment. And therefore that makes Jermell Charlo the number one pound for pound. Now, when you look down the division, there's some good names and there's some good fights in there.
Yeah.
But for me, it doesn't look like a very strong division.
No.
You've got Castano's good. Fundora looks great, and he's about 9 foot.
He's massive.
Yeah, you've got Tim Tszyu, looks quality.
Fundora's so tall that he looks like you could just poke a hole
Well, yeah,
through him.
Imagine Jermell Charlo, but then no one can, and he's knocking people out. And
he's good, yeah.
a good fight. And then you've got Tony Harris, Erickson Lubin, and then you're sort of Israel Madrimov, people like prospects like that.
I like Madrimov.
Yeah,
actually. I think
he's maybe the best under 10 fighting pro at the moment.
Yeah,
but
I fancy. I think he would beat. I'm not sure actually. Maybe Tim Tszyu.
Someone like Tszyu. It's a great fight. Lubin's in there, Castano's in there. But I think Jermell Charlo's proven beyond all doubt brilliant. That he was great in that rematch.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really
he's got a big fan in Nate Campbell as well.
Yeah. So it seems, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was good. Good. Like lovely movement, fast hands, nasty. Tough and all. Like, you don't, see when you got boxers like they're pretty and they're nice.
Yeah, the flash ones. Yeah,
the flash is a better word.
Yeah,
you forget about the toughness sometimes.
Both of them are like that. They're both like that.
They're nasty. I don't like.
Yeah, proper
nasty.
nasty.
I don't like them as people because I met him in it would have been in Vegas. So it would have been Canelo Golovkin, and obviously I'm working for BT Sport at the time, so I had a suit and tie on, and in the crowd ringside, and one of them came out. I don't know which one it was, to be fair, because they're identical twins, pretty much, aren't they? And he went, all right, mate. I thought he knew who I was. He went, where's the toilet? I went, what are you asking me for? I haven't had enough of him. Who do you think he is? He said, where's the toilet? I said, what are you asking me for? He said, you work here, don't you? I went, no. He said, what are you wearing a tie for then?
He's done you there.
Yeah, he done me. Yeah.
Did you have a mop and bucket?
Well, when he walked away,
you were like, yeah.
No, when he walked away, like
Bunsey, hold me back.
A safe distance. I told him what was what like.
You went, they're up there on the right.
Lucky. Slap. He's lucky he went. No, yeah, anyway, so I don't like him.
Well, don't like him, but you still put him.
I love watching him. No, he was brilliant. The couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, against he was really good.
Okay, well, that was one of the easy divisions.
They've all been easy so far, actually.
Here's another one. This is a toss-up, this one. I'm interested in what you say. At welterweight, obviously, 2 names there, really. Who are you going to pick? Crawford, oh.
I just think he's brilliant. But you would say body of work as a welterweight, then Spence is better. Not hugely better, but it's better, I think. I do. Yeah, I think
slightly deeper. Obviously, been going longer as a welterweight.
He's been there longer. But
and the wins against people like Kell Brook, it was a different Kell Brook that he stopped compared to the one that Crawford stopped.
Of course it was, yeah, it was, yeah. And even Sean Porter, like the win for Crawford, it was a good win.
Yeah.
And he boxed so well against that. And he reminds you how clever he is, actually.
And he stops everyone. People
he's not. That's right. And he's gone through the weights like no one's business, haven't he? By the way, but he's so just such a really clever fighter, Crawford. He has natural gifts, but he has a great boxing brain. And he does prod. I don't want to say downloading data, but he does. He does prod. He goes boom boom, like he jabs up and down, see how you react. So he never wants. You see the first 4 rounds, he always makes it look like it's a little bit competitive because he wants to see how you. He's waiting for you to react. Like, so he's not thinking 5 steps ahead because no one does that, because no one's that clever. But he does see how you react to movements. But he remembers that. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes you'll do it and then you'll do something else. You'll forget you'll forget.
Yeah. Or forget the data.
Yeah. But he remembers it, or his corner remembers, and they tell him, I'm not sure. But so you'll see after 4 rounds how he starts to take over a fight. It's really good.
But the argument is always Spence, obviously the bigger man naturally,
and a great body puncher.
Great body puncher, southpaw.
Yeah.
So when they do eventually meet, if and when they eventually meet, that will mean that he wins the fight. So he's not necessarily the better fighter overall, pound for pound, quote unquote. But because he's bigger, he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Crawford's better pound for pound than he has to be, I think. But it's it's welterweight. For a long time, I always say the welterweight, Spence is better because he's been there for longer and he's proved his case, and he is physically bigger. But I always just feel like Crawford will beat him.
Yeah, because that's the easy one on this is who's going to win the fight, and whoever wins the fight is better.
Again, you talk about, and I'm not certain of it, because I think Spence is. I think he showed in his last fight, Ugas was a hard fight for him, especially with everything that's going on in his life. It's a hard fight, and he was brilliant. He was really good. Ugas is one of those guys who people go, I'll fight Ugas. Why would you? Like, if I was in that welterweight, if I was managing a top class welterweight now, he's the last fighter I'd fight, because you get no credit for beating him.
Yeah,
and chances you won't beat him. That's the truth. But he's really good. But Spence didn't seem to have too much trouble with him, and that shows the quality of him. He's a great body puncher for a big tall fella, and more adaptable than I give him credit for. But I think just that he's so athletic, Crawford, and yeah, I think he causes too many problems.
Well, let's hope it happens.
Oh, mate.
Let's hope it happens.
They both need it, because they're all going about this is like the Leonard and thing of their day and blah blah. It's not, because they were 24 when they boxed, 24 and 22 or whatever they were, whatever age they were, and these guys are like 39 and 74. But they're too old. Like, but they got to fight.
It's not old.
There's no reason why they can't. No, I think Crawford's not with.
Yeah.
No, not with.
If it doesn't happen now. If it can't happen now, it's never going to happen.
Why can't happen? I know it's all money. Yeah. I understand that, but like.
I heard the latest I heard, based on nothing. No, didn't stand this up. I don't know. Couldn't know the source, but that Crawford wants a rematch clause officially written in. Wouldn't want to cast aspersions on that. That means.
I can't blame him though, because everyone has one. They go, why don't I have one?
Yeah.
And it's a safety. It's a guaranteed pay.
Guaranteed money again. It's not that he's scared.
Like, rematch clauses are the worst thing that ever been brought into boxing.
Wow.
And people will go, what about drugs and cheating? And I understand all that, but it's one of the worst things, because it's held up so many careers. The heavyweight division's been a prime example of it, and that will just what. So then Spence can't box someone else, then, or Crawford can't box someone else, because they got a deal. Like, well, look at the Joshua and thing now. Yeah. I think a rematch should only be mandated or allowed when, forget about money. Let's forget about money now, because they don't have money anyway. The rematches are really it's just a financial gain for everyone involved in the promotion. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not for the fans to get the fans a better fight. No, that's what we're told. That's another crap.
Yeah, because they can make the fight again.
I don't begrudge it. They're earning money. Look, listen. If I was a marketable fighter, who was beatable, but I was the biggest draw financially, I'd have a rematch clause every time I stepped up the door. To be honest. You won't train him on a rematch clause.
You got a rematch clause to be in?
I'd have rematch clause for adverts and everything. You would, of course you would. Who doesn't want to get paid twice?
6-a-side rematch clause.
For the same work. But like, for the sport itself, it's a pile of crap.
Well,
yes.
rematches.
Anyway,
yeah, well, let's get on to
Crawford.
Okay, Crawford, easy one. Now this one.
Yeah, we don't do
I know what you're going to say.
We don't do it.
I've got something. I've got a question for you.
I don't want to do it.
So at light welterweight, 140 pound, 10 stone division.
Yeah.
Who is numero uno?
I think they're getting rid of that division to make way for Bridgerweight, so there's not talking about that now.
Who's the one?
I think Catch will beat Taylor. I do.
You sat on this sofa and said that he did.
Well, I did. No, I did. That's what I'm saying. He did. He beat Taylor. Of course he did. And but you still got to say Taylor's the best number one. I said, oh, you have to. I think you do. Like I do. Again, the whole contradicting myself. I think Crawford beats Spencer's better body of work for Crawford beats Spence. In my mind, you up to Crawford number one. Cattrall actually did enough to beat Josh Taylor, but Taylor's resume and now weight division up until that fight was maybe the best run of like 4 fights or whatever it was in world boxing.
Yeah.
Like like I just think, you know, he had one bad night. Boxing is all about one night actually. So you say, oh yeah, I only had one bad night, but you know that's what boxing is. Good night or bad night is whether you win a world title or don't. But yeah, the fact that on paper he won it. I'm not. So if this is what I'm going to get slagged off for.
Yeah,
I don't care about that. I'm starting to think I care. You mentioned it, but Taylor's still the champion of everything right now for the minute. That won't stay long forever. So yeah, as far as to say, Cattrall had the night of his life, and he deserves to be the champion of the world. He deserves to be unified champion of the world. He had the fight of his life. And he's a lovely kid, and all this. Look at me now. I've turned into one of those. I don't upset anyone. I don't upset you. And this is not personal, but yeah, the fight of his life, and he deserves to be the unified champion of the world. But he didn't give it to him. And I'm not quite sure that he can produce that level of performance again.
See, this is the
I hope he can.
Question. Yeah, this is we all assume it's the night of his life, the fight of his life, but was it?
It might be the start of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that just how he's going to perform against elite fighters?
I don't know, because when you look at his career, I've covered most of his career. Remember, he's always looked really good, and you've seen flashes of amazing quality, but nothing screamed in beating Josh Taylor. Nothing even suggested he beat Josh Taylor. No one gave him a chance.
No.
I thought it was just a nice home defense, and I like that.
That's why they did it.
I'm a fan of Jack Cattrall's. I'm a bigger fan of Josh Taylor's, of course. Everyone knows that. But I mean, and as a person, I know Jack more than Josh. I don't know either of them really, but no, they're lovely kids, and Jack's a lovely guy, and all that crap. Okay, but ultimately, nothing said he would have beat him. That's what made it such a tremendous win.
Yeah.
Should have been win for him, because he did everything that nobody said he could do. No, he outboxed him, he outfought him, he dropped him, he won more comfortable than maybe Taylor would have. We thought Taylor would have won against him.
Yeah.
To be honest, because there was no argument that the winner was Jack Cattrall, except for and just to say, all the judges had very similar scorecards.
They did.
So, you know, we're all going, he got robbed, but it's a weird. But either way,
well, here's a question then.
Taylor still won. I don't even have Cattrall too.
Okay, we got
Prograis,
we got
Ramirez. Again, you see what they've done. Cattrall one great night, but if you look back at, if you didn't watch the fight, you just go, Taylor beat him.
Yeah, but we did.
We did. But Taylor's number one. Taylor's still.
Okay, here's a question. If say the judges had agreed with 97% of the people who watched the fight, and he'd got the decision.
Yeah.
And right now Cattrall's got all the belts. And he's the unified world champion.
Yeah.
Would he be number one?
He'd have to be, wouldn't he? I know. It's literally like talking about my ass.
No, I'm with you. I know exactly, because I was the same.
No, I know you're saying.
You got to draw a line.
And we have a similar situation now in the weight below, the lightweight division. But again, he didn't get it though.
Yeah.
Though he deserved it and should have had it, he just didn't get it.
In the record books.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll let you off.
Actually.
Josh Taylor. So Jack, if you're watching, mate, Barry says you shit.
Yeah, Barry hates you. Barry hates you, right?
Okay, let's go.
I'm a Josh Taylor fan.
Let's go down to lightweight. There's another one. So we've got a guy in, who I'm sure you're going to say is the number one, who's got all the belts, and genuinely has got them all now, even the emailed one, the franchise one, and all of them.
Yeah.
In Devin Haney.
Yeah.
But is he your number one in the division?
He is, because
based on that,
just process of elimination. So I got him in the order they were. I got him in who I had first. I had Lomachenko as number one for a long time.
Yeah.
And then Lopez beats Lomachenko. And then Lopez is number one. Then Lopez gets beat by Cambosos. So it makes Cambosos number one. And then, because they weren't like they were with Taylor and Cattrall, like controversial. They were wins. And then to me, and then Haney beats Cambosos.
Probably, yeah.
Comfortably, yeah. So you have to make it number one. Though I still do think that Lopez can beat Haney.
Ooh. Yeah, but when it comes down to that, that's hypothetical, and you kind of just got to go on what you got.
So is Crawford. This is why all these things are a load of bollocks.
Yeah, but that's hypothetical because we got nothing to go on. But whereas in this division, we actually have got some stuff to go on.
Yeah.
We've got some tangible...
See, Lomachenko's the one for me, because I still think Lomachenko could beat Lopez second time.
In a rematch, yeah.
And I think Lomachenko could beat them all, actually.
Yeah, but is he done?
I know, that's the worry. You know, his age and how long can you keep producing the quality he has, you know, and what's going on in his life, you know, in his country and all the rest of it. Is he done? But if he's still got 3 years of the quality that we've seen, I think he can still beat them all. I think he beat Lopez in a rematch, actually. I think Lopez would beat Kambosos in a rematch. And not comfortably, but beats him. Kambosos, for me, has been a massive surprise, because when he beat Selby, which was a very close and maybe controversial decision, but I thought he did enough, to be fair, but a lot of people didn't, and I understand that, why. He didn't look like the guy who was going to be the king of the lightweight division. Considering if Selby beats Kambosos and he gets a world title shot, I was over the moon for Selby, but not in a million years has he beaten Lomachenko, not in a million years has he beaten Lopez. That's what we thought at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good for him. At this stage of his career, he had a great career. At this stage of his career now, gets another crack at the world title at another weight. But it's just unfortunate for him. He's in a weight where everyone's really good. And the champion, who was it Lomachenko the champion at the time? Or was it Lopez?
What, when Kambosos beat...
Yeah, so it was still Lomachenko.
Selby, it was still Lomachenko. It was before
unfortunate for him, you got to fight Lomachenko.
Yeah.
No, that's a shame. But apart from that, he deserves his shot. But obviously, Kambosos got the nod and he gets the opportunity. But then Lopez boxes him and so on and how it turned out. But it's just, I still think if Lomachenko can produce what he's produced in the past, I think he gets it right with Lopez in the rematch, if they would have one. If Lopez doesn't move up in weight, I think. And
you pick him to beat Devin Haney.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, not easy, but I do.
Yeah. A couple of years later.
And Kambosos is the one I don't think beats any of them
again.
Yeah, but I didn't think he beat Lopez.
So where does Gervonta Davis fit in? Where does Ryan Garcia fit in?
Yeah, well, Ryan Garcia needs to fight somebody to show us. I'm not sure if Fortuna is that. Good fighter, former world champion super featherweight, but again, he's having those prospect fights. So if he's a prospect, just leave him out of it. But if they're saying he's a world title level contender, but that's the tick in the box fight. Fortuna. For me, it's a good fight, but it's not a fight that's going to make anyone else scared.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, well, I don't know what weight he's at. He's a lightweight, but he's boxing at their weight and this weight and that weight. You know, just stick where you are, I think. And I don't think he looked. There was a great finish against Romero, but he didn't look great. To be fair, it was easy. I think he was always going to win, and he has that natural eye for finding a punch and great power. And he's a trouble for them all, I think, actually.
But he hasn't quite done enough to get number one.
Or in our top four, yeah. No, but potentially, with the way he is, he'd be good enough to beat them all. To be honest, him and Haney, again. No, I think it's a hard night's work for anyone, isn't it? If that is.
And there could be another man entering the mix who could become number one at lightweight, who I assume, well, is clearly number one at super feather.
Oh,
and that is Shakur Stevenson.
Well, he might be him and Jaron Ennis, who's a welterweight.
Yeah,
they pretty much going to be like the future of the division, aren't they? To be honest, to be fair.
Yeah,
the world boxing division of world boxing, I think. To be honest,
if you could buy stocks in someone, you're buying it in them.
Oh yeah, Stevenson as well. 'Cause the thing with Stevenson, he's very good, and he can box, and he can fight, and he thinks he's clever, and he doesn't care. I don't think he really cares. He wants to be an exciting fight. He wants to sell himself, but I think ultimately he don't give a shit. If you're watching, you're not happy, as long as you're watching.
Yeah, like Mayweather towards the end.
Yeah, I'll win, and this is how I win, and you'll just come and bloody watch me anyway, and you will. Because I think he also has that unlikability factor that he can get under your skin. That a lot of people won't like him. Like Mayweather. They'll rub you the wrong way, but that's the most sellable commodity, I feel. Being unlikable is more popular than being likable. It is, isn't it? Sports, it really is. The more than look at the Chris Eubank, who's like actually a quite funny and engaging character, but he's obviously a good, tough and hard fighter, but he really made a fortune. I was everyone wanted to see him get bashed up. Naz.
Yeah.
It's too good. They were just too good to get beat. And certainly Nas was just too good, almost too good to be almost unbeatable at some stage, or one stage of his career. But he just knew everyone wanted him to get smashed to pieces. They weren't all there. No, very few wanted to see him get win. Wanted to see him get see him win. See him get win. I'm trying to act like the kids. See
him get win.
Yeah, man.
Well, Super Feather is an easy one.
Yeah,
because
Joe Cordina.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the division is mixed up. Is not. There is a clear one, and that's him.
Stevens is out by a million miles.
Yeah, and I don't anticipate him hanging around there for that.
No. And to be honest, even I know like people like Joe Cordina just won a world title, wants to fight him because it's a money fight.
Yeah.
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
It's a good division though. Valdez is still around.
Yeah.
Constant Sol, who beat Valdez for me.
Yeah.
It's a hard division. Rakimov, who Cordina's got is that how you pronounce it? Rakimov?
Yeah.
Who Cordina's got to maybe face next. Though I think he might get himself a batter before that. But no, it's a hard division.
Okay, well, Super Feather's easy. Featherweight is a bit of a messy one. Who's your number one?
Navarrete.
Okay. So Navarrete is currently the WBO champion.
Yeah. He moved up from Super.
35 and 1.
Yeah.
And by the way, the one was a 4-rounder in 2012. So 10 years undefeated. So it's not like he's lost he's 30, 27 and 0 since then on a hot streak.
That's right. Yeah. So it's almost like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's good, he's strong, and he hits hard with either hand. And he carried that power from Super Bantamweight, which you're never quite sure about when he moved up. And he did it quite comfortable. I think and I just think the fighters he got around him, the new kid,
Magyaso. So he's WBC champion after beating Gary Russell Jr. in January.
That's a good
big upset.
A massive upset.
Yeah.
But also, so Gary Russell Jr. as well sort of was asking for it.
Yeah.
Because you can't box every 3 years. And expect it, because Gary Russell Jr. probably the most talented fighter in that division, and had been, except for Lomachenko, for a while.
Yeah,
natural talent, but it takes more than that. But you can't be inactive your whole life and expect to when you turn up and to go to the gym and train and then fight just to be as good as you were 3 years ago in your last fight. You just can't. You need to be active.
Well, on the subject of activity, Leo Santa Cruz is still the super champ.
Oh, no.
But he hasn't weighed 126 pounds since February 2019.
He's another Gervonta Davis, but worse. You don't know what weight he's at.
Well, we can just assume that he's not a featherweight.
Yeah.
Even though he's got that belt.
Of course he's not. And that's why Lee Wood's world title, it was always, to me, it was always the real world title.
WBA, yeah.
Yeah, it was always a real world title. Because, like, I know others I haven't given credit for it. Like, some people have won and I've got, not really. But that Woods was.
Yeah. And he beat Kanju and he beat Mick Conlan for 2 good wins.
Yeah,
2 real good wins.
I still think Warrington.
And Warrington still is. Warrington was the IBF. Oh, he's the IBF champion. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
He beat
so he had a bit. Kiko.
Beat Evergreen Kiko.
So he had a bit of He had a massive crash. Derailment against Maurizio Lara, but he's back.
You'll never see Lara fight again.
No,
seriously, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Lara will never. No one will give Lara the time of day. And he's going to be one of those horrible fighters who got a decent payday. Then they go back in the middle of wherever you come from, mate. Turn the telly off. Right, we're going to cut your whole little town off of electricity, and like you want it. No, it's like that. Who wants you?
Don't need him anymore.
He's probably not a marketable fighter, and unless they can find some sort of marketability factor for him.
Yeah.
Why would you? No one's going to want to fight him. It's horrible about the sport, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. So where do you? So Navarrete number 1.
Yeah.
Would you reckon Warrington number 2?
No, I think just because he beat Russell.
Russell, yeah.
You got
and he's 24 now.
Exactly. Yeah. Only because I would put Warrington number 2 before that, but I think the fact that even in the second fight against Lara, I think maybe that cut or whatever it was did him a favour.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look. You don't know. But it didn't. He looked a little bit unsteady already, didn't he? It wasn't like sometimes you got a bogeyman that might have been hit. So, and the Kiko Martinez was a great win, but it's still Kiko Martinez.
Yeah.
Who just beat Galahad, but he was still, he's an older man.
Yeah. And a super bantamweight for a long time, and bantamweight as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of super bantamweight, another one where there's 2 men, Stephen Fulton and MJ Akhmadaliev.
Well,
who do you reckon? Who are you picking out of those 2?
I pick Fulton.
Yeah.
But after watching Akhmadaliev on Saturday, I was like, oh, he's like him.
Yeah. It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that.
It's one of those.
But
It's one of those.
What's
Maybe
Fulton
the
next? What's Fulton next week? And you'd be like, that.
Yeah.
No, Fulton again, Fulton again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got 2 belts each. It's beautiful. You know, it's one of them where you just need.
And they'll fight, I think.
Yeah.
Who's Fulton tied with? I'm not quite sure.
I'm not sure. Maybe he might even be free agent.
Well, I think they'll fight.
Trying to think of
For this
who's that
division,
card
to be the most accommodating.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe.
Well, they got to, haven't they? What else are they going to do?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, you don't have to, but yeah, they've been the most accommodating. I think now you got.
I'm just not sure if he's with PBC, and then that's a problem.
Yeah, I think if he's with PBC, then we're not going to see it. But if he's not, I think they offer him enough money.
So
put on his own.
So you pick Fulton now.
I am, yeah.
And would you pick them to him to win that fight as well?
I would. Maybe only because Amakduliev, if I can't say his name, he, again, what I said about him earlier on, that he doesn't throw enough punches, I think. He's really accurate and he makes you miss, makes you pay every time. But I think sometimes that wanted to throw that, or never wanted to miss, and he is very accurate, that I think he might need to be throwing more in bunches against Fulton.
Yeah. And
that might be his undoing possibly, but in the footwork might cause it's a hard fight, it's a good fight. But I think I just fancy Fulton right now.
Okay.
But I think in 12 months to 18 months time, that might be a totally different scenario in my brain.
Okay, bantamweight, I'm going to give you one word.
Butler. Hey, Paul Butler, I'll be fair.
Paul Butler's got the other belt.
I tell my kid all the time about the big thing in school about I got a little kid, he's like 6. Perseverance. And boxing's a great sport. That's pretty much the stamp on boxing. Perseverance gets you so far, further than talent. And Paul Butler got loads of talent, but perseverance, no, because his career was been over a few times, really, and he's not. No, he had a great.
It was over against Alana Tete about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah. Well, he was. I remember doing a preview of that. And,
yeah.
Because Butler was my favourite fighter.
I can remember. Yeah.
He's great to watch, beautiful to watch, and but yeah, he gets back and wins the world title. It's not his fault Casemiro couldn't make the weight. Like no, I know he's winning the fight him. And yes, we had an easier touch. But, yes, we had a bit of luck, but yeah, it's a new way.
That was more than one word, but I let you off. Okay, here's a bit of a messy one as well. Super flyweight. Now, I think actually there's only one man really you could say is number one right now, but it's
yeah, you have to say it.
He's beaten Chocolatito, he's beaten Quadras, he's beaten
everybody.
He's done them all, yeah.
But he's supposed to be beat by everybody.
Yeah.
That's how good that weight division is, isn't it? For a long time, Gonzalez is. I do think Gonzalez. Again, this is another Taylor Catchall scenario. I thought, though not the same uproar, but I thought Gonzalez was a winner in the last fight against Estrada, and I mean enough to say he got turned over. I felt, to be fair. Maybe, yeah. I was a bit disappointed actually with the result. Yeah. It wasn't a scream at robbery, he walked it, but I thought he did more than enough. I thought that every round was close, but I thought Gonzalez was winning him, not clear enough, but I thought clear enough for him to get the nod. So,
but Bam is coming.
Oh, Rodriguez. Well, and again, he's coming right at the right time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, what is he like? He's like 12. And they're all 50. No, but he is no. So
he's about 12 kilos.
And I've said this a couple of times already in this podcast that you get that transitional period in divisions where all of a sudden it's phenomenal, and then
it can't last.
Yeah, and then they all drift off to either retire or they go up and down in weight usually, and then there's a gap there for fighters who are not really good enough maybe to get over the line to sneak in and win a world title. So you think with all these 4, maybe 5 top class super flyweights, which is saying that in any weight division, could they win world titles in any weight? By the way, almost pretty much. If you could make them bigger, that's how good they are. But they're all in their 30s now, and they've all had long hard careers because they've all had to box each other. That's why they've had hard careers. But they can't keep going to the well forever. And then there's a transitional period, and all these fighters waiting at the wings. But he hasn't done that, Rodriguez. He's coming. He's younger and fresher, but he's maybe just as good. It's hard to say because they're not in their prime now. But he's just as good, if not better than them right now. And I'm in love with Gonzalez, and he's brilliant, right? And if you ever have this disillusion with boxing, just watch one of his fights. and the poetry of his movement. That's all it is. You'll just go, oh, I love this sport. I love it. And then also makes me sad, 'cause I think if he was anywhere above welterweight, he'd be a billionaire.
Yeah.
He'd be a billionaire. Now, the fact that Tyson Fury earns more than him, and by the way, Tyson Fury's like a generational talent. I understand that, but this guy can do so much more than all those other guys. You know, Chisora earns more than him. Back on the Chisora thing again.
Does Bam beat him now?
Yes.
Oh, because he's had 2 at Superfly. He's beaten Quadros. He stopped Sorong Vasai.
Oh, it's a real hi, hello, I'm here. And then, you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't sneaked through the back door. He's kicked on the front door and gone, I remember me.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm the new kid on the block. Who are you? I used to watch you. Cause I know. I tell you what, I'm so excited. Khaled Yafai said something about when he boxed. Who did he box?
Conception.
No, when he got beat. Gonzalez.
Oh, Gonzalez. Yeah.
And he said, when your idols become your rivals or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It sounded like they rhymed. But that's what this kid's doing. You should watch these kids growing like when he was a kid. But bear in mind, he was a real kid watching them.
Robert Garcia's probably said to him, go and watch Chocolatito. Probably watched him for years.
Yeah, look at the movement and all together on the pod. So he won't get the same success that he had against Rung Vasai, against Gonzalez or Estrada, because they will move with him.
Yeah.
And their reactions are still a bit quicker. And certainly in their prime, then I would still favour them over him right now for what you've seen. But still, I think now the timing is right for this kid. Like, he hasn't come in and beat a few former champions or, well, he have, but you know what I mean. But he's come in and he's gone, Bob, Kudras, who again has been around forever, but still a good hard fighter. Won the belt. Actually, that division is like, it's like a found in a youth division. Because all those fighters, the hard career they've had, they're all Sam Egertons. Yeah. Their best days are coming at the end. But they should literally be all past their sell-by date and all struggling with, like, injuries and all be retired now, really, because they've had, like, wars, because they've all had to fight each other consistently, constantly. Like, they've followed each other through the weights, by the way, haven't they? I mean, some have done it better. Let's get away from Gonzalez. Nah, you're like Estrada. I'm moving up. Get all. Oh yeah, stay away from me. They just follow each other around, haven't they? So they're not the 4 kings. These lot. They're the 4 Eggingtons. They're the 4 Eggingtons. Get it trending. Well, they're evergreen, aren't they? You know what I mean? They just keep coming back for more. Green eggs. But I do think that Rodriguez has just come at the right time, and I do think they will fight each other because they're all on the same platform, and they're also. They need to. They need to. And it's great. But I hope Gonzalez got one supersonic performance in him. Okay. Well, he sort of did against Martinez, which, let's move on to flyweight. Yeah. Number 1 at flyweight, I've got a feeling I know who you're going to say here, and we're going to have to discuss it. Yeah. Go on. Charlie. Oh, Charlie. Now, Sonny, innit? It's Sonny. Okay. I mean, his level of opposition going up every time, and obviously beat Mority to win the belt, which is a great win. It was, and people go, his talent is ridiculous. People say he was an old man and all that. I think there weren't many people picking him to win. But no, I think there's an argument there. Like, a lot of people will go, Nakatani would beat him, or you got to say Martinez because the way he's been destructive, but. And you sort of like, if you take it with the Gonzalez win, I think now I'm looking at this division to help my choice how they level up against each other. That's why I'm looking at this now. For my purpose. Yeah. I'm bending it towards my purpose. That's the truth of it. And I think Edwards beats Martinez. Ooh. Not comfortable, but I think he beats him. I take that back. I think he stands Martinez on his head. I said this before, I've said this a few times now. Martinez could knock him out with the first punch in the first minute and put him to sleep, his lights out. Or he could be crying after 7 rounds. Why won't this kid keep still? Yeah. And all that. And by the way, Sonny Edwards is not the powder punch puffer that people think he is. I don't know what's going on. But he's not a puncher, but he has enough punch resistance. That's not the words I'm looking for. Got enough power. You can take a shot. You got enough power to enough pop in his punch, I was going to say, to stop you from walking through him. And also, walking through him is what he wants you to do, because he'll spin you around on the balls of his feet. Like, you just can't get hold of him. Nakatani's the harder fight with him. 23-0 and 18 knockouts is a great fight, that. Yeah, it is. And one of the fights in tall boxing. For the weight. And Nakatani Bam again is a mad fight as well. That's something I'd love to see at flyweight. Yeah. But right now, body of work, you kind of got to go Sonny, haven't you? I think so, yeah.
The only other
Well,
Martinez,
not body of work. I think body of work. You can argue Martinez.
yeah, but the problem with Martinez, he's pulled out of a lot of fights. To be fair, given how young he is, obviously his last fight he lost against Chocolatito, but it was at Superfly. So there's not massive margins between them in terms of body of work. So then you just got to go on, like you say, what you like, what you've seen. They're two totally different styles.
I'm quite strong. I've been there for a long time. That's Sonny. If he boxes,
and if you pick him to win the fight, you've got to say he's number one.
I think that the hardest fight for Sonny would be Nakatani for me right now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's say Sonny Edmunds flyweight. Now light fly. Who do you reckon?
The Kutcher guy.
Kyoguchi.
Kyoguchi. I can't say the names yet. I worry about these weights more than anyone else because trying to say their names, the straw weights.
So Kyoguchi 16-0. Stop Heki Budler. I'm surprised you said that.
Yeah, I know. Well, Huggy Budler's because Huggy Budler's had the win, but I think
that was a long time ago. But he's 16-0.
No, Huggy Budler had the win recently, haven't he? And
yeah.
All of a sudden, because he's been wrong. Like, I thought that Huggy Budler was about my age.
I think he probably is. It's about your height.
I
I thought you were going to say Kenshiro. I thought you were going to go Kenshiro for this because he was the victim of maybe the biggest upset of 2021, which was a mad year for upsets, by the way. But then, when he got stopped by Ibuki, but he avenged it in March, so he's back. So he's up there. But Kyoguchi is the other one that you could say.
I like him.
Yeah. Again, it's if you wanted to buy stock in either of them, you go.
Because the rhythm to his work
is
really good. He rolls in and he works behind the jab really well.
Any pivots?
He pivots. Maybe, but I do like his rhythm to his work, and because again, a lot of them at this weight, it's not all Chocolatito type thing, but because they just got that nice smooth rhythm to them, even when they're being aggressive, it's just like no effort. There's just no effort. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
but it is, of course. But
okay, you're going Hiroto Kyoguchi at light fly. Okay, minimum weight.
Oh, mate,
Go on. Who do you reckon? No, I'll be honest with you.
I can't even say his name, right?
Go for his actual name, or not his actual name. Go for his sponsor name.
Oh, is it
Knockout CP Freshmart?
It's CP Freshmart.
Tamamoon Nyongchong.
I feel embarrassed now because I've lost myself.
Tamanoon.
The one.
Nyongchong.
You got the one who beat them.
He's 23-0.
Menathian.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going him?
Yeah.
So Knockout CP Freshmart. Now they get sponsored to change the name. How much would you have to get paid to change your name?
What's that?
I'm not saying you have to be called Knockout CP Freshmart. Maybe Pivot CP Freshmart.
I don't know.
How much would you pay?
What's that?
How much would you have to be paid to change your name?
Oh, 1,500 quid, something like that.
1,500 quid.
Haven't they?
Tell DAZN, Sky.
I got a friend, right? Who's a commentator, really good guy, right? Dave Rogers.
Yeah.
And he has.
What's his actual name?
His name Dave Rogers. But he has a saying: "If you got the money, I've got the time."
Yeah.
And that's what I think. If you've got the money,
you've got the name.
I'll change my name.
You change your name.
Yeah, I'll change my name to anything. To be honest.
Knockout CP Freshmart. You could be UD CP Freshmart.
Is that?
Yeah.
And knock you out. It's a fresh mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's your number one, is he?
I think could
I'm not going to press you on your knowledge of minimum weight strawweight.
I can't even say his name.
Yeah.
But he was 54-0 for.
Yeah.
When he up until they had the record, and he should just retired and been happy. And then his last 4 fights, he's only won 1, 2 losses and a draw.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is CP Freshmart was more of a kickboxer, I believe, or Muay Thai. He's come to it sort of late.
I think I know when they're going about making a new bridge of weights and I know Tony Bellew made a big thing about saying the weights. No, I don't want to make a new weight. Bridge of weight, I ignore it. By the way, it's ridiculous having another weight. But
I don't think Knockout CP Freshmart's going to be a bridge of weight, mate.
No, but this is what I get to know. So they got this weight because there's too much of a weight between light, heavy, and cruiser, and cruiser and heavy, and too much, and it's understandable. This fight is being lost there. I think with the whole with people just getting bigger by nature now. Naturally, people are just bigger anymore. No, I was always small, but now I'm like a dwarf. No, to kids, no. I'm not literally. I'm not even joking. I literally no, I'm a bar stool at best now.
People getting bigger.
They are. They are. Like some of these weights, you know.
The Nando's.
They got to. If they're going to be adding weights, they got to be taking some of these weights away.
You're going to get rid of. This is the Barry Jones against minimum weight campaign?
Not just minimum weight.
Who else you getting rid of?
No, but seriously, look at this 3 pound. I know 3 pounds is a big difference.
I see what you mean.
But you know, if you're gonna be adding weights on,
Because they do move around like nobody's business down there as well, don't they?
because they can.
Yeah, yeah, of
That's
course.
the truth.
That's because
And I just think that maybe, yeah, you know, I think, you know, it's like I watched that fight the other day with Mia Thenon. I still can't say his name. It doesn't matter. The guy with a massive record.
Yeah.
And it's over in, I guess it was over in, I don't know who it was. It was over in Thailand. It's really bad because somebody watching this would be a massive fan of
Yeah,
it.
of course, yeah.
It's disrespectful.
I knew this was going to happen.
It's disrespectful.
When I was looking through this, it was like...
But it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But like, they're boxing like in it looks like a market. Like there's nobody there. Like some people watching. Like they're walking past them, they're shopping.
Might be the fresh
world title fight.
Yeah.
Like that. It was like one of my fights or something. You know? But they're going to war. Like
of
war,
course,
like,
they're giving everything.
But and that's the thing. Then you got a guy like this, then the little guy, and he got Mayweather's record.
Yeah.
And you go like, well, Mayweather, some of the people he had to box to get there.
But that's just, we're only told that they're the ones because they are the ones, because they're the ones that are in the public eye. But these guys that they're beating might be just as challenging. You never know.
Now you see some. It's like, you know, when I sort of dug out, you know, in the other podcast about Jessica McCaskill's opponent.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they chucked the into a world title fight because there's not enough people there to box, maybe. But she wasn't worthy, or she wasn't good enough up to standard, a McCaskill standard, to even box for the world title. Forget about beating her, just the box for the world title. She wasn't. And that might be the case with some of these lightweights. So some of them are not good enough. That's the problem.
But they got to box someone. Okay, so you would £1,500, you'll change the name.
Yeah.
And you want to abolish minimum weight, strawweight.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect place to leave. Not just that.
Oh.
Who else you want to get rid of?
What's that?
Should we get rid of the welterweights as well? They ain't done much.
It's not that. People are just getting big in a minute. You're gonna have nobody's gonna be able to box in that way, do they?
Well, we'll see. Until that time, I think we should stick with it. Well, okay, that was great, Barry. By the way, all your criticism of those picks, direct it directly at Barry. But do have a, you know, whatever you got in to say, stick it in the comments. We'd really like to hear this.
Find me on Instagram at I don't care.
Don't go on Twitter and hammer him for some of those picks, because some people are going to be. I could be fuming. Like
my Twitter handle is Big Daddy Buns. Okay.
Barry, thanks so much for that. Thanks for all your research you did into the light flyweight division as well, and into the minimum weight division. That's great. And I hope you have a lovely week. And thanks for your time as always. And more importantly, no offense as always, thanks for your time, and we'll hopefully see you at the next one.